Okay guys, Akk Tech was kind enough to contact me and ask me to review some of their products, and I said yes. So these are the products they sent me. They were kind enough to send me a 5.8 gigahertz 4-lobe cloverleaf antenna to go with their X1 transmitter. So this is the X1 by Akk Tech, and it's a multi-power transmitter. So that has three power modes at I think 25, 200, and 600 milliwatts, and it's pretty small. It's a nice small set. In fact, it might be a little bit smaller than the FX transmitters I've been using lately, and it actually comes with the same kind of power wire to plug it in. So this is the same thing, pretty much very similar to what I've already been used to using, and I do like those FX transmitters a lot. That's what's in most of my builds now. And so these are just a little bit cheaper, and if they turn out to be as good, I think this will be my new staple for the price that they're charging. They seem, I mean, the quality of the build is very nice. I don't see any kind of problem that I'll have with these. Of course, I'll have to get it installed and get them flying to see how they really do. But so that's the X1, and this is the camera they sent me. Now this is a 600 TV line camera. It's the CA20, I believe is the model number, from Akk Tech. And it's just one of these nice little orange case cameras. It's very similar. In this quad here I have a Foxeer HS1177, and you can see it's pretty much the same style camera. And you know, run cam, and everybody's making these now, and it does come with its own little mounting bracket, and of course the wire to plug it in and hook it up to your quad, and the OSD wire, and a little bit of instruction booklet down there to set up the OSD, I suppose. When I look at how, you know, I'm not going to use the mounting bracket it came with, but when I look at how similar it is, the little tabs on the side are just the same as this Foxeer camera. So the build I'm doing right now, this is an SCX 200, and I'm putting this camera in a SCX 180, so it's basically going to go in the exact same mounting, and it looks good to me that it'll be pretty much identical kind of setup as this one is. So once I get it installed, I'll get some flight video up, and we'll go from there, and I'll see how I like it. So far it's all looking very good, very nice. So here's some footage from the maiden flight with the Akk Tech camera, video transmitter, and 5.8 gigahertz cloverleaf antenna installed in my SCX 180. And as you can see, there's plenty of detail in the camera. It's a nice image, real nice and sharp and clean. And I'd say it's probably about the best you can do with a 600 TV line camera and a standard video transmitter system. There may be some better cameras out there, but there's certainly a whole lot worse. I'd say the camera's at least as good as an HS1177, if not a little bit better in some aspects. One of those aspects might be the wide dynamic range, but I'd really have to back-to-back fly them to really make that comparison. But the wide dynamic range on the CA20 camera is pretty impressive. You can point it up at the sky or into the sun, and the screen gets a little bit dark, but you can usually see all the objects and things on the ground to navigate, and I'll get into more of that in just a minute. But for now, let me talk about the X1 video transmitter. That didn't give me any problems here. Of course, this is a wide open field, so there's not a lot of things to give me RF problems out here. So no multipathing or any kind of serious interference or anything, just some glitches every now and then. You can see I've taken the service road all the way around the tree line around the outskirts of my flying field, and I don't know, it's probably 1,000 feet out from the furthest point. I don't know, it's a pretty good long circle all the way around, and I don't really have any issues at all. The video stays nice and solid, and yeah, my overall first impressions of this camera and video transmitter are pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to try and show you how this camera reacts under very variable lighting conditions, and basically what that means is the camera is going to be scanning over very bright and then dark and then bright images, and sometimes the sun can even come into view, like right around this corner here. Sometimes that'll happen. And if the wide dynamic range isn't up to par, that'll blacken the screen and you won't be able to make out the details of anything around you, and you just crash. And so thankfully, I'm glad to say the CA20 camera, the wide dynamic range is pretty impressive. It works really well. Right there, the camera actually got flashed with the sun a couple times, and usually with a camera with lesser wide dynamic range, you end up with at least a second of black screen. It might only be a little bit darker, but it's enough to crash. And so this camera is impressive. I think it works really well in the variable lighting in situations like this where it's just constant. See right there, the sun flashed right into the camera, and I was able to still get around that tight spot. And yeah. So the only problem I had here was with the X1 transmitter. Now, I didn't bother trying to change channels or anything, but as you can see, it's constantly glitching. I am able to make it all the way around my house while flying really low to the ground, which is really pretty good for any video transmitter on 200 milliwatts. This is an acre lot, so a little bit over an acre, so flying around an acre property in a circle, I definitely would say the X1 transmitter did good, but you can see the glitching, and I really don't know what was causing that. I have like 3 Wi-Fi routers running in my house. Maybe it's some interference from that. Maybe it's just some multipathing or some interference on the channel I was on. But I flew at a few other places and I didn't have this glitching going on, so I think it's probably just something that was interfering on the channel I'm on, and I was just too lazy to switch. Now I'm going to show the CA20 operating at one of those special times of day that a lot of people seem to have a little bit of trouble with, and that's at sundown or sun up. For me right now it's sundown, and you'll see when I point the camera directly into the sun, I can still make this turn and confidently fly through the goalpost because I can still see everything. In fact, anytime I point the camera into the sky near the sun or even directly into the sun, you can see the screen does get a little dark, but you can still make out the ground, and as soon as you start turning away, it brightens up immediately. I think a lot of people can only fly in the morning or late in the evening, and it becomes really inconvenient not to be able to point your camera in one direction. So having a camera with good wide dynamic range, I think, is really important. And the CA20, you can see here, right into the sun, I can still see all the objects to dodge. It's just a good camera. I think for the cost and everything, I would definitely recommend it. The wide dynamic range is good, the image quality is good, and overall the camera is just pretty impressive. Okay, so to conclude this review, I just want to say I definitely recommend these Akk Tech products, the CA20 camera, the X1 video transmitter, and the 5.8 gigahertz cloverleaf antenna. The X1 video transmitter was really easy to use. It just had a push button to change between the different frequencies and bands, and it had another button to change between 3 different power output modes. And it could also be turned off, I think, so that you could work on your quad, or if you were just flying line of sight and you didn't want it on, whatever. I guess it's a pretty good feature to have. The CA20 camera, of course, was in my opinion a really good camera for the price. The image quality and the detail and the wide dynamic range and everything were good. And I don't know, you can just judge for yourself. You saw plenty of the footage, and in fact right here is a nice shot coming up where you can see the bridge over there and the whole beach and the river and everything. Quite a bit of detail for an FPV camera. I mean, it's not HD or anything, but I think it's pretty good, and it's definitely on par with HS1177 or any of the other cameras that are really popular these days. Akk Technologies Inc. has a whole lineup of other products that I didn't even get to go over or review in this video, so if you want to check out the ones I did review or any of their other ones and get the information on those, I'll put a link in the description below for their website. Currently you can only buy through their Amazon shop, so I'll go ahead and put a link for their Amazon shop as well. I've been told that they'll be selling through Aliexpress and also through their own website in the future, so keep an eye out for those things. But I went looking around and I found some of their products on eBay, so that's another option, and who knows, there might be some other places out there as well. If you found this video entertaining or informative or useful in any way, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. And feel free to comment, or if you want to see other videos like this one, give us a subscribe. I'd definitely appreciate it. And thanks for watching.